Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? It's a Wednesday, and we got some football in 2 hours or so, 2 hours and 10 minutes. How y'all doing? I got my 150s ran over here. I want to make some super draft lineups. I want to make sure to play in Jock Market as well today. So what's up, everybody? Got to make sure I have those alerts set to get everything in because, look, I'm going to be able to actually, right, at night sometimes I work and watch the games, but actually just have the game up while doing some laptop work, finishing up some Sunday stuff, some game-by-game notes. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to have some afternoon football that's not on a Sunday, right? It's a nice little refresh in the middle of the week that I think is going to be better than some night football. Now, a lot of people that have actual jobs might not like it, but hey, you have it up on your screen while you're through work and it gets you through the final couple hours of your job. How y'all doing? What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We're very close to 34,000 subscribers. So if you want to hit that like and subscribe, I appreciate that. Want to leave a podcast review, all that stuff is awesome. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. I see a bunch of people getting hype right now. What's up? Yo, this is a crazy game, right? So if you have not yet seen the recent news, Dobbins and also Mark Ingram are likely not to play. So that bumps up Gus Edwards and Justice Hill today, right? So it's going to help those guys out. And if their projections are coming up, it's going to lower the exposure or at least the overwhelming interest in some players around them. A la Eric Ebron is a similar price point to Gus Edwards, a la the price point right now of Hollywood Brown compared to Gus Edwards, Des Bryant, some of those things. And on the lower end, McFarland, now some of his glare and some of his flashiness as being a cheap running back that maybe sees 6 to 8 to potentially 10 touches. Now it becomes some Justice Hill as well. So what's up, everybody? Fellas, how y'all doing? Yo. I think that if we have some new subscribers and if anybody donates during this, I'm watching on my end right now on OBS. But I think that if you want to subscribe, if you're brand new here, you want to hit the subscribe button or unsubscribe and then subscribe. But I appreciate if not a lot of people unsubscribe. I think I try to put in some widgets. Somebody left a YouTube comment, so there should be some things that pop up. We should have some things that are popping up. This guy subscribe, and I'm going to keep trying to, and there's some insider jokes on some of those little widgets that may pop up. If they're popping up at any point, let me know. I don't know if I could see them on my end when everything's live. I might have to have a separate window open, but yeah, let me know. Could be pretty fun, and we'll keep trying to play with those. There are going to be some insider jokes for some of the people. What's up, everybody? What's going on, Sweet Phil? I see a lot of people up in here. Kyle's in here. What's up, everybody? Yeah, so I'll let you know quickly to plug the show, Super Draft. Hey, Super Draft, we're getting deep in our contracts. We just re-upped our contract because a lot of people love Super Draft. A lot of people in the Discord and Patreon are winning big on Super Draft. Just had a really nice night myself a couple nights back, or actually just this past week on Monday Night Football. Had a really nice night, one of my best nights ever on Super Draft. So Super Draft's a ton of fun. Go ahead. There's projections on Patreon if you want to follow along down below for Super Draft and anything really, DraftKings, ownership, rankings, lots of stuff. But Super Draft, if you want to get a little bit of a bonus on their multiplier format, any questions during the show on Super Draft, let me know. A lot of people are active into Super Draft, and I see why. It's a totally different format that is a ton of fun. My name's Sal. You'll get a little bit of a free money bonus up to $1,000 in a slow drip format. See some people in here. See Jerrell in here. What's up, my man? What's going on? My man Jerrell is a real OG. There we go. Pure Talent is now a subscriber to the channel. So we see that right there working out. Get a little bit of Aaron Rodgers up top. Not bad, right? We got some things we're trying to work through on here. That should be hitting your airwaves any second, if not already. Hey, Sal, thoughts on Juju in the captain spot? I like it. So there's a couple things. We got Tyler. Tyler is now a subscriber on the channel. So I'll be sure to try and call out your names if they come up. If I don't worry about it too much. But everybody can see that you actually just joined the community. And if people want to welcome the person to the community, whatever it might be, I appreciate that. So there's a couple things we can do today, right? You're going to get a lot of Gus Edwards probably, depending on the projection, over 10 fantasy points. More times than not, you should project him probably out around there, just based on the pure touchdown upside, based on the pure touches. Now, as a big underdog, I understand if you don't want to go there. I completely understand if you want to lower the projection, whatever it might be. I'm getting a healthy amount of Gus Edwards, but I don't really want him in the captain spot. This game would have to get a little bit wonky to see Gus Edwards in the captain spot, but he does have 2 touchdown upside. A couple other things. So your question exactly, yes, I like Juju in the captain spot. I'm going to like him there a good amount. Now, Robert Griffin III is very cheap. We don't normally have quarterbacks this cheap, especially with rushing upside, and especially where Lamar Jackson, right? He has COVID. Trace McSorley's on the COVID list, or right? These guys, it's really just RG3 right now that you're going to have to choose between at the quarterback position. So this is going to be interesting, right? You don't like Edwards, somebody says? No. Gus Edwards I like a lot. I have him as a no right now. That's on my bad. Let me move this. Actually, a lot. I do have a lot right now, so I'll update this. Gus Edwards is a yes for me. I just have to update this. Let me pull this up right now. But yes, there's going to be some big decisions today because if you allow RG3 to get into your captain spot, what's going on, Way Tula? Welcome over to the family over here on Patreon. Appreciate that. Or over on YouTube, subscribing. But if right now I'm doing the live Great job doing a live show for this crazy time game. Thank you, Sean. So, RG3. If I put RG3 in the captain spot, I'm going to get a lot. I have him projected for a decent amount of fantasy points. Nothing extreme for a quarterback, but it's all going to come down to his rushing upside. Do you think RG3 has a rushing upside? Because he has no weapons. Like Lamar Jackson has no weapons, and he's barely getting to 20 fantasy points a game right now, right? And now with less weapons, Willie Snead, Mark Andrews out, the running backs out, you can be damn sure that there's going to be really difficult times for Robert Griffin III, who has not had that much time against the league's potentially best defense and limited weapons, to be scoring 20 fantasy points. It's going to have to come on the ground. So I'm a little bit hesitant to be putting Robert Griffin III in my captain spot, right? Lamar Jackson barely getting it done in this offense, and now it's not even anywhere near that same offense what's going to be out there today. So with that being said, yeah, Juju I have the Pittsburgh receivers pretty held highly today in the captain spot. I think one of them probably get you there more times than not, and then I'm going to be targeting just like small amounts in the captain spot, or probably Duvernay and Hollywood Brown. Somebody said I'm big enough to be a tight end. Good morning, Sal. Fellas. What's up, everybody? Yeah, some people are probably joining in the morning side if you're on the left coast, the west coast, right? Pretty cool. Mod Pearl for the Baltimore tight end today. Hey, shout out Jerrell. Yeah. You don't like coverage than I do. Yo, what's up, Sal? Good morning, brother. Who's your best play on Super Draft today, bro? What's going on, Emmanuel Woodley? Nice name. A pretty elite name, Emmanuel Woodley. So Gus Edwards is going to grade out as a pretty good super draft play for me today. And then after that, it's kind of a hodgepodge. Like, this is an interesting super draft slate because you can really bump up the randomness if you're playing on super draft today, because everybody kind of looks like the same play. And that's kind of crazy because I have, about a dozen guys outside of Gus Edwards who does stand as my clear-cut top super draft option. Probably going to be touchdown dependent due to his lack of pass catching work. So even he's not that stable. But then I have a dozen guys that are basically like projecting within like 2 points of each other at this point. So that's pretty crazy. Normally we have like 3-4 guys kind of standing out above the rest. Super draft today is going to be a very interesting slate. If you have projections and you know how to use randomness properly, I think the wide receivers are going to get there more times than not for you. So that's where I would probably lean the wide receivers in terms of Juju, Deontay, Devin Duvernay looks good as a 3x multiplier in super draft. So yeah, I mean, a lot of guys look good on super draft today. It's the first time that I can remember in a while. I don't usually play the Sunday night slates. I've only played a couple this year. First time in a while. Loco is now a subscriber. What's going on? Welcome, fella. Welcome. First time in a while that I can remember that happening. Charlie, a lot of people hopping in right now. A lot of fellas signing up, being patrons. Patrons, I keep saying, subscribers, right? I get no similar notifications if a patron signs up. So we got over 600 people. McSorley is active, somebody says. Is he active? Has he had it for more than 10 days? I saw as of 2 days ago he was on the COVID list, unless I was looking at the wrong quarterback on DraftKings. But McSorley is an absolute monster. I wish McSorley was starting this game. I get why he's not. Obviously, his only actual experience was in the preseason where he just balled out, and I got to watch him firsthand at Penn State. So I'm a little bit biased on Mr. Trace McSorley. So Trace is active then today? Yeah, that's what it's looking like. McSorley is active, so he must have just came off. So yeah, they activate him from yesterday. So okay, cool. So I assume he's going to be active as long as he doesn't have it. They aren't activating the running backs, but I think they actually had it. Baltimore runs mostly 2 tight end sets as well. Theoretically, this sets up for more 3 and wide receiver sets and probably more Griffin throws than Lamar would have. I mean, maybe, right? Maybe. Also, they run more 2 tight end sets when they have Nick Boyle and Mark Andrews healthy. Yes, I agree that with nobody healthy in this game, Luke Wilson had to clear his illness by yesterday, and I don't think that he did. He was a late add to the DraftKings player pool. They have no tight ends right now at this point, right? Blocking tight ends at best. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, they would like to just run the ball. They would like to put 2 tight ends in the field or just keep in 2 wide receivers and run the ball, but they might not have that option as big underdogs. But even if RG3 throws 35 times, that doesn't help the fact that his offensive line isn't the greatest. He's not as mobile as Lamar in terms of rushing upside, and his pass catchers are pretty abysmal, in my opinion. Hollywood Brown, sure, on a better offense, might do well, like on a Chiefs offense. I really don't know how many offenses that Hollywood Brown thrives in terms of being like a Henry Ruggs type of a player. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I want to like RG3 today. He's a dirt cheap quarterback that's going to have maybe 30 overall opportunities, maybe 35, maybe 30 pass attempts, 5 rush attempts, right? At $8,400, that's hard not to get to. Now, I like RG3 in terms of where I have him in my utility spots. My decision point is if I want to put him in my captain. If I put him in the captain spot, I'm going to get a lot of RG3. Right now, not playing any RG3 in the captain or any quarterbacks, I get 63% RG3 as a utility play. So I'm already above the field on him. I have him projecting out in the mid-30s right now on Patreon. You can check it out down below. Best time to sign up for Patreon is the beginning of the month. So if you have been wondering or thinking about it, best time to sign up is right now. Logistically, it makes the most sense. If you keep your own budget, things like that, it also makes the most sense. But then basketball comes in a couple of weeks, so we'll have all that type of content. NBA projections already out. Projections for this week's Sunday slate out. This slate stuff's all up there as well. So, Yeah, my decision is going to be coming down to if I want to play RG3 in the captain spot or not. Right now, I'm not putting him there. I mean, a team total of 15 is really difficult. Obviously, Showdown Slates, we're trying to hope for chaos, and chaos in this situation would be RG3 having a nice game, and a nice game for RG3 can just be 20 fantasy points, right? 60 rushing yards, 40 rushing yards, and a rushing score can get you there, but 15 team implied total is pretty damn gross. Sal, promo code for Superdraft says Cage Devil. Yes, sir. It is SAL. So in that little box that says have a promo code, you type that bad boy in, and they'll give you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 Rooskies once you'll get it in a slow drip format as you play. Did you just go live? We went live about 10 minutes ago or so, probably 5 minutes ago, something like that. How much run will Vance Mcdonald get, do you think? Yeah, so Vance Mcdonald is likely going to come back from the COVID list now. He missed the last 2 games before them, having like a week and a half off now, 2 weeks really, because of COVID. So I do think that Vance Mcdonald is going to get some run, but it's not going to be anything extraordinary. You're probably looking at single-digit routes runs for Vance Mcdonald. The routes run for Eric Ebron continue to go up, and he continues to excel on his increased usage in this offense. Vance Mcdonald is very much so becoming a blocker in this offense. I don't expect much from Vance Mcdonald. I would probably say at best you're looking for Vance Mcdonald to see a target. This is a guy who was running 5 and 9 targets in his last 2 games before getting hurt, or routes. So you're probably going to look at 6 routes run. Maybe he catches a target for like 6 to 8 yards, right? If it's a touchdown, it could pay off for you, but that's about it. Leave out Juju if you had to play 2 of the 3. Yeah, I mean, right now, if you had to play 2 of the 3 wide receivers, right now I'm getting equal amounts of almost all of them. I'm getting 28% Deontay, 27% Juju, and 25% Chase Claypool. But that's in my flex. If I go to my captain ownership, it's also very similar. Captain ownership right now, if I don't play Robert Griffin, 25% Deontay, 23 Juju, 22 Chase. So I'm getting very equal amounts of all of them. I don't really see a reason to leave out Juju. Matchup against Marlon Humphrey in the slot, sure, it's not great, right? But none of these matchups are going to be all that great. If Jimmy Smith is healthy, it'll be a little bit of a tougher matchup on the outside. I think Chase Claypool probably has the best matchup on paper. I could artificially bump up his projection by like a half a point and get him the most if I want to. That's how narrow this is right now. But Juju's getting all the usage this last month and a half. All the red zone usage, more than Deontay. He's just not as good after the catch as both Claypool and Deontay. He's not as good of a player as it seems right now. And then those 2 other guys. But that's factored into the price point, and he's seeing a lot of usage. Dez at the captain on a single entry? Not for me. Sal, do you think the Steelers look to use the ground game a bit more with Vance back blocking? I think they're going to be up right now based on Vegas. More times than not, they're up in this game. So I think using the ground game makes sense if you're leading in this game, but not really. No. If it goes by game flow and they're up 14-3, 17-6 at halftime, yeah, I think you'll probably see more ground game than usual. I don't think it's more so going to be because Vance Mcdonald is back blocking that they're going to change up their entire situation, their entire play calling. Sal, any love for Dez in a DK single entry? I want to like Dez, right? I want to like Dez, but it's just really difficult. The projections now for guys around him, like Anthony McFarland, who's cheaper, like the kickers, like now Justice Hill, it's just tough to get to Dez. I was getting to more Dez before the news on the Baltimore running backs because now Justice Hill opens up, and honestly, Justice Hill is looking like a better play, more points right now I projected for Hill at a lot cheaper of a price point than Dez. So I do think Dez runs routes. I think he probably runs now with no Willie Snead. Mid-20s, maybe runs 24 routes in this game, Dez. And yeah, in terms of a big red zone body, no Mark Andrews. He's probably their best red zone option right now in the passing game. He's definitely their best chain mover as Hollywood Brown goes downfield. And these 2 rookies in Duvernay, fast guy, middle of the field, Miles Boykin, really can't get any separation. Crazy that Dez Bryant might be better at it right now in a small sample. Tough right now, though, to want to get to Dez in a big amount at that price point. If Dez was like $3,800, I'd probably get a lot more. $4,800, yeah, it's really tough. Even a 4-reception game probably doesn't make me get too much of him. Have the Ravens announced any tight end stuff? We'll get the inactives in. The game starts in 2 hours, so we'll get in about a half an hour. Sal, can you make sense of fading both quarterbacks? I think that you can, right? There's obviously a high price point that's going on right now on the Pittsburgh Steelers side with a lot of wide receivers that are also priced around Ben. So I could see you getting away from Ben. I have a lot of Ben. I'm not trying to get away from Ben too much right now, but I can see you getting away from Ben. And then, yeah, I mean, the argument against Robert Griffin is that he maybe has 200 total yards and no touchdowns and a pick, right? He goes out there, he scores 8 fantasy points. Look at that. We got the first Dollaruski coming up on the screen right now. Pretty cool. With the super chat coming in. I think it should work. Hopefully it works. Matt Bryan says, Pouncey out for the game. Could that change things for the Pitt running backs? I mean, slightly, right? Slightly in terms of offensive line advantages, but I'm not going to factor that in too much. Offensive and defensive lines are very underrated, but I'm not going to be changing that all too much. Then we get Martin donating $5 to stream. I appreciate that. I don't know why the super chats aren't popping up. There we go. There we go. There we go. They've just popped up. Donated the Dollaruskis with Ron Swanson. Hopefully, if you know, you know. Martin says, Des Bryant, times 4 captain spot in Superdraft. Almost all my lineups. What do you think? I mean, I can make an argument for anybody on Superdraft right now, to be honest with you. Des Bryant probably wouldn't be one of the ones that I would, though. Like, I've got about a dozen guys that are right now. Twitter, at Vetri DFS. Correct. Yes, sir, Gerald. What's wrong? Somebody asking? But, yeah, Sal, you got any Boswell in your lineups? I do, yes. I have a decent amount, like 20%. But Des Bryant on Superdraft is somebody that maybe in your flex side play, but I'm not willing to play him in the captain spot. Des Bryant right now for me ranks out as, I mean, right now we only have, 25 players to choose from, at least that I'm looking at, 24, and Des ranks out as like my 14th super draft option. So that's not that great. The upside there is tough. Like, you need touchdowns, and how much are we actually thinking that there's going to be touchdowns from the Ravens side in the passing game? Maybe one, right? They're only implied for 15 points, at most 2, and you kind of need Des to be getting both of those to really be a super draft captain today. Somebody says, don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. I don't know what that means. What's your best captain in single entry? Yeah, it depends which run I'm going to go with. If I lean to not play Robert Griffin in the captain spot, it's probably going to be, it's marginal. Like, Deontay Johnson's my highest owned captain, but I'm basically getting like 22 to 25% of all the Pittsburgh wide receivers. It just makes too much sense. Benny Snell not getting much of at the price point. I do think Gus Edwards is a fine captain option, especially if this game does stay close. You're probably looking at 16 to 18 plus touches, but all on the ground. So you need that touchdown probably to get you there, especially in the captain spot. That's why I like him. Sal, you look 10 years younger today. I look 10 years younger today. Why is that? I don't know what's happening there. I look like I'm 14 years old. Damn, I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. In single entries, what's your advice? Yeah, I mean, on Showdown slates, don't play it. That's my personal advice. Like, if you actually want to know my real advice, single entry and 3 max on a Showdown slate, I don't play it. That's my personal advice. Now, that might not be the right advice, but that's the way that I personally play. I don't think there's much of an edge in single entry and 3 max on these types of slates. Even if you think you have an edge, that edge is so microscopic that everything has to go right for it to work out, where that's not the case on main slates. Now, if you want just general single entry takes, yeah, probably fade the higher owns. Utility or captain guys, which is going to be some of these Pittsburgh wide receivers, which will probably be Big Ben naturally. Just usually quarterbacks are going to be pretty highly owned in the captain spot. And then leave money on the table. But that's kind of just the general Showdown thought process anyways. Today becomes interesting because there's some decision points. Today's decision points in Showdown, at least what I'm seeing, is Robert Griffin III in the captain spot, Gus Edwards overall, whether it's captain, whether it's playing him, right at that price point, he's going to project out nicely. You're going to get a lot, but if we try and take into account game flow, we try and take into account his usage, there might be a really good chance it's a Justice Hill game over Gus Edwards, just based on the fact that Hill is actually a pass-catching or a more active pass-catching running back based on college profile and production than Gus Edwards ever has been. So those are my 2 big decision points today. It's what to do with Robert Griffin III in the captain spot, what to do with Gus Edwards overall. Right now, I'm not playing any Robert Griffin III in the captain spot. Right now, I'm getting a lot of Gus Edwards in utility, not so much captain. Won some money this weekend, Sal. I would donate, but I'm still down for the season, says Ryan. Hey, Ryan, keep your money, man. No problems at all. Shout out to you, my man. Shout goes out to you, Ryan, sir. Yeah, if you guys want to hit that like and subscribe, I appreciate that. If you do it now, if you subscribe, I don't liking no, but if you subscribe or donate, we're gonna get some little pop-ups. I'm gonna keep trying to make those nice. Des or Hill for my flex. I'm gonna get more Hill there, Justice Hill. Now I would say that you look your age. Somebody says, nah, you look 24. Shout out. Yeah. Left $1,400 on the table. Too much? Not for me. If you like the lineup. Who benefits with Snead out, Duvernay or Boykins? I think it's going to be Duvernay. Duvernay was running ahead of Boykin, and then Dez kind of overtook both of them. Boykin's been abysmal this year. He didn't even run any routes in the last game. He was just basically an inactive. What's up, Sal? Wednesday afternoon football. What's your take on Hill and McFarland? Cody says. What's going on, Cody? I'm getting a good amount of both of them. Like 15 to 20+% of both. I'm getting more Hill right now. I'm getting a good amount of Hill. I actually don't think he's a terrible captain play. Allows you to squeeze in a lot. Don't think you need it on this slate, though. So I think Justice Hill's a really good play today. He's going to be on a team that expects to be playing from behind, and he's the pass-catching running back. You have a backup quarterback in with no tight ends to check down to. This is a game where Justice Hill could catch 4 passes. If Justice Hill catches 4 passes for 20, 25 yards, I mean, that right there, 6.5 fantasy points, not even touching the ball on the ground is getting you there. So he's going to be the pass-catching back. I'd be surprised if it's Gus Edwards based on his NFL and college profile of really never being a pass-catching running back. But they could slow this game down. If they keep this game within 1 score, shout out Forward Momentum. Join in. What's up, fella? Welcome along. Shout out Aaron Rodgers with them glasses. But they can keep this game in play right now and close. You could see a 20-touch Gus Edwards game. So that's where the upside comes in for Gus Edwards. My man David Peterson is now a subscriber. Welcome. Jay Filthy donates $5. He says, love you, baby. Who's your favorite low-price Raven in a Steeler blowout narrative? Hill, Boykin, Tomlinson, other. It would be Hill. If you're talking about low price, it would be Hill in a blowout narrative. Look, a Steeler blowout narrative, I don't think you're going to get much out of Tomlinson. Boykin's still going to operate as the wide receiver 4. Maybe he runs like 12 routes like at best, and he's not getting any separation. New quarterback, maybe he just eyes him down, but I doubt it. So yeah, I would say that it's going to be Hill out of those options you just asked me of. And that's really all your options, right? What's your take on Dez? Yeah, I think he's appropriately to slightly overpriced. Jay Filthy donates $5. Rooskies, I appreciate that, man, by the way, the super chat. Yeah, my take on Dez is I think he's slightly overpriced, especially now that we have McFarland on the slate. McFarland's skill set in the passing game, I still think he's going to see 6 to 8 carries on the ground, but his skill set in the passing game, if they get up in this, isn't going to be as used. But on third downs, I think he still comes in as a pass-catching running back. I don't think Snell will play all 3 downs. So I think that McFarland's in play. I think Justice Hill is very much in play. Those guys being in play and the kickers also being in play makes me not get to as much Dez. At $4,800, if I'm projecting a guy for like 5-6 fantasy points, right, 3 receptions, 30 yards, like let's keep in mind, he looked decent in that last game, but he still just had 4 catches for like 20 yards. We're not looking at any downfield usage for Dez yet. We're looking at an offense that is a backup quarterback now. Maybe he's up in the priority with no Willie Snead and no Mark Andrews, but even then, it's really difficult to assume in this matchup that he really gets there. Alan Marga is now a subscriber. Welcome, 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 fella. Almost 1,000 views, 8 likes. Yeah, so the like, if you probably have to refresh in your end. It's probably above that. But yeah, we almost got 1,000 viewers in here right now. Got about 150 likes. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe also. If this is your first time seeing me, let me know in the comments. You can hit the subscribe button as well. It helps out a lot. Ownership projections for the Steelers' top wide receivers. Yeah, you can get those down below over on Patreon. If you have a specific player you want to know about, you can let me know. But probably not going to just read off the entire sheet of ownership projections. If you have a specific player, you can let me know. Do either of the Ravens tight ends make a good punt play to you? I mean, I don't even think that Jerrell Adams is on the team. We're going to find out the actives and inactives in the overall active roster in like 45 minutes or 15 minutes. About 20 minutes, 25 minutes, somewhere around there. I just said like every number. But Eric Tomlinson was like a former Jet, former Giant. He's ran routes. He's had a couple of receptions. I don't think he makes that good of a play unless you're trying to hope for a touchdown there. It's all a guess, right? These tight ends for the Ravens, I can't give you much statistical analysis on them, right? Eric Tomlinson, more so in his career, has been a blocking tight end, and he has not been a very good one at that. That's why he's basically a fourth stringer and a practice squad player on a lot of these teams. Jerrell Adams has not ran a route since 2017. Jerrell Adams is a tight end that went to South Carolina. He's 28 years old at this point. His production at South Carolina was also not that great. Now, his senior year was his best year, but this is 2015. At age 22, he played 12 games. He had 421 yards, caught 28 passes. Nothing crazy, right? He had a 15% target share. Other than that, he never eclipsed 8. So this is not a pass-catching tight end that's all that great anyways. Last time you actually saw him being used was 2007. He played 8 games. He ended up catching 8 passes. So like neither of these tight ends or anything I think are going to be involved. I think you more so start to see the involvement now of like Devin Duvernay as a wide receiver 3. More so start to see the involvement now of probably more Miles Boykin. Miles Boykin is basically operating as a tight end anyways this year. But yeah, it's going to be tough to see what they do with tight ends. This offense does rely on pass-catching tight end Andrews. Nick Boyle was a big blocking piece for them. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I mean, you're looking at the team total. 15 implied team total, 14.5 in some spots. You should not expect all that much success and efficiency on the Ravens on offense today. Hill and Edwards in the same lineup. I think that's okay. I don't love it, but I think that's okay. What do we got here? Roster construction advice for Showdown Cash. Yeah, Jason Hale, welcome along. Now a subscriber. I'm not a cash player. Definitely not on Showdown personally. I do think that if you're going to play cash anywhere, it's probably the softest on Showdown because not a lot of top end players want to be playing there. But if you're making your own contest anyways, it's fine. You can try and build optimals, right? I don't even think both quarterbacks is optimal on this slate. I think Big Ben is, and trying to get 2 of his pass catchers in there is probably the most optimal approach. But yeah, I think that if you're playing on cash today, you probably want to get to Big Ben. I think it's fine to play one of these kickers. I would probably play the one that has a 10 more implied team total, even though the other one is arguably the best kicker in the game, in Tucker. I would end up going with Boswell and kicker, and then I'd fill in the rest. One of the Ravens running backs in cash for a salary saver looks okay, but I would try and get up to 2 of these Pittsburgh receivers with Big Ben. Just try and lock in like what looks like 50 fantasy points between all those guys. Is today the day to captain Tucker in the Millie? Not for me, but if you get like 3 50-yard field goals, maybe. Should you play Gus and Justice Hill in the same lineup? I don't think that's the optimal approach. Can you play them? Yes. Should you? Probably not. Any preference between Juju and Claypool today? Apologies if already discussed in the chat, but I did hit that like button already. Shout out Michael. Shout out Michael hitting the like button. Yeah, so Juju and Claypool, if you're playing one lineup, I like Claypool. I'm currently getting like 24% Juju. Well, if we factor in my captain ownership, I'm getting like 48 total ownership to Juju myself, and I'm getting like 46 to Claypool. But if I wanted to like build one specific lineup, so it's basically a coin flip out of like all my lineups, but if I was forced to build one specific lineup, I'll take Claypool. They're both being involved in the red zone. I think Claypool's going to have more of a mismatch in his matchup. Shout out DJ Sanu. Welcome aboard on YouTube as a new subscriber. I like Deontay Johnson more than both of them, but I'll take Claypool over Juju if you're building just one lineup. I like the upside of Claypool's 2 touchdown upside. I like the upside of Claypool after the catch. He's a top 12 yards after the catch guy. Juju not so much in that same realm. Welcome, Jason, says Evan. Yeah, welcome. I like people inviting the new peeps in. Robert Griffith, somebody says. Robert Griffin and Tuck with Steelers wide receivers. Yeah, best of luck. Somebody says, would love your take. Would love my take. Let me scroll up to see what your question was. Based on research, I have Captain Claypool, Devin Duvernay, Edwards, Deontay Johnson, McFarland, and Big Ben. You just gave your lineup out to like 1,000 peeps. So Mike Gale joins. What's up, Mike Gale? New subscriber. Shout out you. That lineup looks great. You can read me off like 100 different lineups, and as long as they seem like they are going to leave money on the table, have an upside piece in the captain spot, which every single basically wide receiver on the slate is, especially from the Steelers, I think that they're all going to seem pretty good to me. Edwards is fine. Deontay Johnson obviously fine. McFarland is the one piece that probably gets you a little bit more different. Going with him over Hill. So, it looks fine. Luke Wilson, question mark? Yeah, so Luke Wilson had to be activated by yesterday. He had an illness, and I don't think he was. I could be wrong on this, so somebody can correct me in the chat if they want to. But from the stuff that I was reading, it did not seem like Luke Wilson ended up making it by yesterday to get activated to play in this game. Pouncey out for the Steelers, correct. Do you need Ben if you play two of his receivers? No, you don't. On a Showdown slate, no. If you're playing on a main slate, I would say yes. You want to correlate that to hit the upside. On this type of a slate, no, right? You can see Claypool score 16. You can see Deontay Johnson score 15.5, and Ben can score 16. So Ben can score 18, and it might not be enough. So you definitely don't need him. Now, more times than not, if both of his receivers are going to pop off, Ben's probably in the winning lineup, just based on the fact that he's not that expensive, $11,400. That's like an average quarterback price. Like if he's sustaining a Claypool 25-point game and a Deontay 18-point game, and there's 3 total passing touchdowns, then Ben's going to be probably in a lot of winning lineups unless RG3 goes off to push him out of there. So Tommy says, instead of the 3 wide receivers, ownership projection for Deontay, about 55% total ownership. That's factoring in the flex and the captain is what I have him projected at. Bentley R says, hi, what's going on? How you doing? Blake Kraft donates $2 to the stream. Shout out Blake Kraft. I appreciate that donation. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be trying to track them. So I just skipped a bunch of questions because Sal, what it do, says Jagman, what it do, man? Ty West has just joined YouTube as a subscriber. Shout out to you, Ty. Boswell or McFarland? I'll take the positional player there, McFarland. I have Boswell projecting out more, but that projection does not have much of a range of outcomes on it, right? Boswell's projection is like 8.5. That range of outcomes might be like 13 to 5. Whereas right now, McFarland, you're going to get like a 6-7 point projection. That range of outcomes is probably going to be like anywhere from 5 to 17. So I'll take the ceiling potential on, if you're playing tournaments, of course, McFarland. How much Duvernay will you have? I'll have a decent amount of Duvernay. He's currently my highest owned wide receiver that I have from Baltimore. I currently have total ownership to Duvernay somewhere around 40% when I factor in my captain ownership. Griffin for single entry for captain. Yeah, right now I'm not playing any Robert Griffin in captain, but I can't blame you if you do. I'm trying to wrestle with this myself. It's a very cheap quarterback that if he hits 18 to 20 fantasy points, and you probably need the rushing upside, there's a really good chance he's the captain at that price point. He's just so much cheaper than these Pittsburgh wide receivers. And that's you trying to play for havoc and chaos, right? Something happens and the Steelers just stink. Like we saw what was the guy's name? Garrett Gilbert from Dallas. He had a good game. Multi-touchdown game. Had a good game. Touched his 20 fantasy points or around there. But can RG3 do that is the question. And Lamar Jackson hasn't even been able to do that. And at least Gilbert had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and all these weapons and Gallup. Your best weapon might honestly be in the passing game today. It's obviously Hollywood Brown, but for Griffin's skill set, it might honestly be Dez Bryant, and that's concerning. Thoughts on Miles Boykin? Yeah, I think he's dust. I think he sees a target or two, maybe brings in one. He's going to run as the wide receiver 4 today in an offense that mainly just uses 3 wide receivers. But there's not as many tight ends, so maybe they line up Miles Boykin at tight end to see if they can get some more success out of him there. How many people we got? We got almost 1,100 people on a 2 o'clock Eastern time afternoon day. Shout out all you peeps. Appreciate that. Appreciate all you in here. Joe donates $10 Rooskies to the stream. I appreciate that, my man, Joe. Shout out you. Round of applause to Joe, everybody out there. Big GPP says, for $1.5 million showdown. Oh, difficult contest to be playing in. I know the main stack is a 4-2 favoring Pitt. Would it be crazy to run a Baltimore wide receiver at captain, such as Duvernay, and have Hill and RG3 in the flex? Would it be crazy? No, I don't think that's crazy. Duvernay, Michael just joined as a subscriber. Michael Daniel, shout out to you. But Joe, to answer your question, basically, yeah, 4-2 Pittsburgh is going to be the main way to go today. An onslaught, I see an onslaught of a 5-1 Pittsburgh hitting more than I see putting a 3-3 Baltimore with a wide receiver in the flex and a captain, or a wide receiver in the captain and RG3 in the flex. I can see it working, though. You need a big Duvernay game, though. And if my assumption is that Duvernay runs as the wide receiver 3, but he does split some snaps with Boykin, you might only get Duvernay running 18 routes in this game. 18 routes out of the slot, low A dot targets. Like, it's going to be tough. You need a 2-touchdown game out of these Baltimore receivers, probably if they're going to be the captain, or just like a 100-plus yard game. Like, if you're going to get a Duvernay 5-catch, 70-yard game, 12 fantasy points isn't enough. Now, 18 could be enough, and that's where it starts to get close. So I don't think it's crazy. I definitely don't think it's optimal, but like usually the shit that you don't think is going to happen is what wins Showdown slates, or just some obscure thing. But I'm probably staying. I do have lineups that do have that, though. Like, I do have some Duvernay captain lineups. I got like 12% Duvernay captain lineups, so it's definitely possible, but they're nowhere near like my top projected ones. Those are all like Hollywood Brown is like the only one that gets into one of like my top 30 lineups. Here's a Duvernay one that's like around my 20th overall projected lineup. This Duvernay one has Edwards and Griffin. This one has just Griffin. So yeah, basically the long answer to that is yes. I think it's viable. I don't think it's the most optimal way to do it, but it's definitely in play. Those types of lineups are getting into like my top overall 30 projected. Safis donates $5 to the stream. He says, Ebron, ? So, thought I was going to get a lot more Ebron. Was getting a lot of Ebron relative to tight ends and just what you would think I would be getting, right? Normal ownership. I might be below the field on Ebron, it seems like it, because of the fact that Gus Edwards opens up in that price range, because of the fact that I prefer wide receivers to tight ends, and some of the Baltimore guys are in that range. And then the bigger upside piece is that we're going to be able to get guys like Justice Hill at similar, maybe not projections, but kind of close. Only a couple points off, and they're a lot cheaper. So the fact that Gus Edwards and Justice Hill are now actually in play and viable, there's those $5 whiskies from Ron Swanson up there. Funny. Can you guys see those? You can see those, right? Those like little things coming up. I like those. Yeah, so it's making me get less Ebron, a lot less Ebron. Now, I think he's appropriately priced. I think he's going to still see his 5-6 targets, but he's going to have to score a touchdown now in a tough matchup against Chuck Clark. Off to watch the game, Sal. Shout out you. Yeah, I mean, you got an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know where you're going so soon. We need to talk about the Ravens tight ends, do we? I mean, right now, Eric Tomlinson seems like he's going to be the only one that's active on DraftKings to even play, and I don't really have much interest in playing Eric Tomlinson. I don't think he's going to take on this Mark Andrews role. Maybe he does. Maybe he just takes those plays in the playbook and he runs 24 routes and he sees 6 targets and catches 4 for like 40 yards. Maybe he does. I don't think he's that type of a player. Eric Tomlinson, Jerrell Adams hasn't ran a route since 2017, and the latest that I checked, he's not even on the active roster, so we'll have to see some sort of roster move. Eric Tomlinson, not the type of guy, basically like an extended offensive lineman, not the type of guy I want to be leveraging a lot of money on. So, FaceTime notification from the group chat. Uh-oh. Yeah, I mean, Eric Tomlinson's basically like a tight end, undrafted at a UTEP, 29 years old. I don't know how much upside we're getting here. He has played one game this year, and I think he ended up seeing a target. He caught it for 1 yard or something like that. Yeah, that's all he's done this year. So, like, your analysis on these tight ends is that, like, there's no secret here unless I'm missing something. Like, the tight ends, they're cheap. They might not even step on the field. They were not even on the active roster as of the latest active roster update. So, we're probably going to get that news later on for who's going to be the actives and inactives. They're obviously going to carry some tight ends today. But, yeah, I don't know. I have a ton of Ebron. Mistake? Yeah, not a mistake, but not something that I'm getting to currently right now. I think he's okay. I have like 9% Ebron. Hey, was Ebron already discussed? Yeah, there you go. We just talked Ebron. So let me see if there's any new updates on these Ravens tight ends. Let's look into some of the Ravens beat reporters and see if there's anything on active rosters on Twitter. Just type in Ravens roster and see what happens. I lost $600 on Richard Rodgers touchdown on Monday. Yeah, I lost about 1,000. Yeah, I lost about a clip. We had a very good day on Superdraft. It would have been even better. I woke up pretty big on Superdraft, like towards the top, towards first place, potentially Bink, and then I go to bed with that, and then I wake up and I'm like, what happened? Like, how did this all get so shuffled? Saw Carson Wentz has a touchdown, didn't have him in a lot. Saw Richard Rodgers, had him in none, as you should have, and he catches like the wildest Hail Mary. Fellas, we're live on a Wednesday. Just got in here, Sal. I know you hate defense, but Steelers defense on a single entry, okay? Not for me. Nope, I got like 1 out of 150 with Steelers defense. Not for me. Talk about Ray taking running back snaps. Ray McLeod, yeah, not too much interested there. I mean, you're seeing like these end-around snaps for Ray McLeod. If you think that he's actually going to run as a running back tonight, that's fine. I think more so if he takes snaps there, it'll be like Randall Cobb in the past for the Packers. More so just getting guys in different situations, 4 wide receiver sets. Also have him on the field, so you technically have 5. I also don't think they're going to need to do that tonight. It's going to be Benny Snell and McFarland at running back tonight. McLeod early on might take a snap or two. Not enough for me to be jumping on him. Is this game on TV today? Of course it is. That's the only reason that they're playing these games. The only reason the NFL is so involved in getting this one in and these games in general is so that they can make their money with TV advertising. So 1000% this game is on TV. If it's on your TV network for your package, I don't know, but it's definitely on TV today. That is without a doubt. That's the only reason that's the only reason the league exists. The only reason the NFL even exists is to collect advertising money from the networks. That's literally the only reason it exists. There's no other reason for it to exist. Now, for the players, it exists as a job. For the actual league and businesses and these franchises, it's to collect advertising money. It's not to have a place for athletes to show their talent. It's to literally collect money. Finds to play Edwards and Hill in the same lineup because of the prices of playing cash. Yeah, but I don't think I want to do that in cash. I don't want to be playing two running backs that one of them has no passing game usage. The other one, we don't know the usage he's going to see as 10-point underdogs in a game where they have a quarterback who was good a decade ago playing, right? So in cash, I wouldn't be playing those two together. Somebody says, I like Duvernay. I think he looks good. Yeah. Sal, do you prefer Duvernay or McFarland today? I have more Duvernay right now at the wide receiver position. Dowens donates $5 to the stream. Appreciate you, Dowens. Somebody says, Sal's that one dude. Thank you. Dowens says, is Ravens D more viable with Pouncey out at center, and is Tucker hurt by losing his long snapper? So people are really trying to dig into this stuff. I'll say no with Tucker. I think that they're going to replace him with somebody who can catch the ball or snap the ball, right? I think that'll be okay. Is there an increased chance now of a long snap going over somebody's head? Yeah, sure. They're replacing him, so there's an increased chance. I don't think they're going to put somebody there that doesn't know how to long snap, though. Seems like probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest job in the NFL, and probably the job that you want to have if you're an NFL player. Long snap the ball fucking like 4 or 5 times a game and go from there. So no, nothing for Tucker. There's no way I'm projecting anything for his long snapper being out. Pouncing being out, does it make the Ravens defense more viable? It makes their pass rush that never gets there a little bit more viable, but no. The offensive line advantage changes a little bit. Not something that I'm going to be all that worried about. Jerrell says, 1K watchers, what's going on? NFL advertising as captain? Yeah. They're definitely the top dog for sure. Thoughts on Griffin on Superdraft? Yeah, Robert Griffin on Superdraft is a fine play. He's just in this hodgepodge of a bunch of guys. I mean, he looks exactly like Ebron and Ben and Chase Claypool with all their multipliers. Like, he has a 1.4x multiplier as a quarterback. That's good to see. Like, Ben's is 1x. But there's guys like the kicker Boswell around him with a higher one by far. Ebron has a higher one. So Superdraft's tough today. It really is anybody's game. Like, there's 10 to 12 players that look almost identical, in my opinion. So I usually prefer the kickers there for some stability, but then also the upside of the wide receivers. What does fading mean? Just getting less than best jock market play? Yeah, so I actually want to join in the jock. I'm already joined in the jock market contest, but I want to get some shares just to hold some spots for me so that I get some notifications of that. But yeah, great day to leave work and hit the bar for the game, but no bars are open. No bars are open. Where you at? Not even just go out and hang out? Damn. Why is that? David DeReamer just joined the YouTube as a subscriber. Shout out to you, man. But thoughts on Griffin? Yeah, so on Superdraft, it looks fine. Anyone going Hollywood Brown? Yeah, I got some Hollywood Brown. I think I'll be below. Let's see how much Hollywood Brown I have. I have total 33% Hollywood Brown, including the captain spot. I think that's going to be below. What do I have him projected at? I have Hollywood Brown in the latest run projected for about 32. So I'm around the field on Hollywood Brown right now. Christmas tree lighting trumped this game, somebody says. Yeah, because of the night part. I'll take the game in the afternoon for sure, anytime. Now, I'm probably biased because I'm home working from home. But I'll take the game in the afternoon overnight anytime. I'd rather do a lot of other things with my nights than watch a terrible football game probably, but we'll take it. Top sleeper today, lowly priced. Yeah, you're not going to find any sleepers really. Like guys that are going to be down here in this price point, like you're going to have these guys picking up ownership, right? Whether it's, let me factor my projections right now. So if you want my projections rankings, you can follow along down below on Patreon. Best time to sign up is literally like right now, beginning of the month. Logistically, it makes the most sense. But Devin Duvernay, cheap price point, $3,200 looks good. These guys aren't going to be full in sleepers though. Like Justice Hill, McFarland, and Duvernay all look like the best guys below 3,500 that I would go towards. But I would expect double-digit ownership on all of them. Don't think you see like 30% on any of them. Probably around 15, 20% on all of them is what I have it at. Other than that, no real interest. Like if you're looking for a guy below $1,000, keep looking. Like Vance McDonald, Tomlinson, Jerrell Adams, I don't even think is on this team. Those are not the guys I want to be playing. So yeah, the top cheap end sleepers are those guys. Anybody phoning in sick to watch this? Hell yeah. Respect for what you do, man. Dream job. Thanks, Robert. Yeah. I mean, you make a couple hundred videos. I mean, if you want to be in this space, make a couple hundred videos to 1,000 plus videos, and you can probably be doing it full time. Now, full time is what you want to make of it, but you could probably be doing it full time. On a different not named DFS site, they recommend playing all three Steelers wide receivers. Your thoughts? I would imagine this will not be a popular build. Yeah, I think it's fine. We've seen that pay off this year. We've seen all three multiple times score double-digit fantasy points. It's not going to be popular. It will be expensive. It allows you to not have probably Big Ben unless you're going to be captaining somebody like a Justice Hill, which even then I don't think you can fit them all. It's definitely not my preferred option. Blake Kraft donates $5. He says McFarland snap percentage versus Snell's percentage. Also Washington, Duvernay, or McFarland. I'll take Duvernay out of those three for cash with Gus Edwards in the flex. Sal's the GOAT, says Blake. Shout out Blake right now. I'm donating $5 Rooskies. Appreciate that. So McFarland versus Snell snap percentage. If the game goes as is, like if we're going to project this for median outcomes and them to win and be up by double digits at points in this game, I think you probably see like a 65-35 split here. I think that you're going to see Snell see his 16 carries, maybe a target, and I think you're going to see McFarland see his 6 carries and a couple of targets. Great stuff, Sal, as always. Thank you. I appreciate that. What about Dez Bryant? Yeah, decent play. Dez Bryant's okay. I'm not getting a lot. I got like 3% Dez Bryant because, just to be completely honest with you, doesn't look as good anymore with all these cheap options opening up. Sal, you play cornhole? You have a subscriber depending on your answer. Yes. Cornhole, bags, whatever you want to call it. I like it a lot. Mark Gerst is a new subscriber. Shout out you, Mark. Got your name up on the screen right up there in green, right above my head. What's up? Alrighty, Washington sleeper. Yeah, James Washington is a sleeper. He'll probably run 15 routes and he'll get his deep shot opportunities. So yeah, right now you get 18 guys on Jock Market, and you can kind of toss some of these guys out. James Prochase is probably not going to play. McDonald is not going to do much. Like around Dez at 13 overall is where you can start getting some guys, but yeah, the obvious options are going to be these top-end guys. Chase Claypool is so expensive already on Jock Market, but it's the appropriate price. And with an afternoon game, you might not see as many guys going for them. So, yeah, I do like getting to guys like Chase Claypool today. I'm going to put in a pretty big bid on some of these wide receivers right now. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Sleep would be like Tomlinson. Who's sleep? Brown or Duvernay today? I have more Duvernay. Right now. I have Brown projected for more, but I have more Duvernay. Your favorite DK build? Yeah, it's the one where you put Aaron Rodgers in the captain spot. Get a Nick Boyle in there if you can. 2 Nick Boyles if possible. And then I'd probably finish it out with Ron Swanson if you could. Chase Claypool or RG3? I'll go Chase Claypool. With Deontay, Duvernay, and Ben, I'll go Chase Claypool. Would you play both running backs from the same team on the same lineup? Yes, I am playing them. That is not my preferred option, but I am playing both running backs from both teams. I have some Snell plus McFarland, and I have some Justice Hill plus Edwards lineups. Now, not all 4 of them together. I have a rule set to only get at most, I think it is 3 running backs from a game, so I won't have all 4 together. But yeah, I think it's okay. Mark Pouncey, after the game, affect running game and protection? Yeah, sure, it'll probably affect it, but not to an extent where I'm going to alter projections. Snell's expensive. Complete fade, made 20 mat lineups. Yeah, he's expensive. He's not that great of a play. I get some Benny Snell because his team's a 10-point favorite, and he's more times than not in this game going to see 15-plus touches and all the goal line work. So, although he's expensive, he's expensive. He's overpriced now. But it'll keep his ownership down. I get 19%. I think I'll probably be around the field on Benny Snell. $8,800 for Snell is crazy. Yeah, it sure is. But what happens more times than not? If the Steelers win this game, let's say 28-17, 28-14, Snell's carrying the ball 18 times, probably has a reception. He's going to have 19 touches for 85 yards, and if he gets in the end zone, he's paying off. So it's nothing crazy. Tony Romo over Rodgers the captain today? Yeah, never that. Never that. How dare you? Snell might not be efficient, but 20-ish carries is a real possibility. Exactly. I don't love Snell. I don't have 80% Snell, but he is more than in play. More than in play at this price tag. I'd rather pay for Snell than Edwards. I have more Edwards. I prefer Edwards there. It's just a price discount. He doesn't have to do as much. Like Snell has to get you probably a 15-plus point game to compete with those wide receivers and Ben. Gus Edwards gets you 12, and there's a good chance he's in winning lineups at that price tag. And that basically just means find the end zone. Like Snell can score a touchdown and not be in the winning lineups. If Edwards scores a touchdown today, he's going to have to only have 20 or 30 rushing yards to not be in those winning lineups. Would Boykin play some tight end being 6'4", 230? I said that earlier as a joke, but I would not be shocked if he does. Boykin has not been getting any separation. Might as well be a tight end so far this year. So I've been rocking with you for a minute. I had the winning DK Showdown lineup and didn't enter it. Now my phone is going to have chasing for everything. Oh, no. That's too bad. Anybody play Super Draft? Yeah, a lot of people in here. You use my name if you want a little bit of a free money bonus up to $1,000 when you sign up. Are you getting any Washington? Right now, no, but I do think he's an interesting play. Not getting any Washington right now. Tough when he's splitting wide receiver 4 snaps on an offense that does not project out to be throwing a lot down the stretch in this game. So not getting a lot of Washington personally myself. Only thing that'll help Snell is that if Brandon Williams is still out, which I don't know if he is or not. I think that they ruled him out already. Let me double check that. I think that he's already been ruled out for this game, defensive tackle, right? Looking right now quickly. Yeah, Brandon Williams has been ruled out for Pittsburgh, defensive tackle for the Ravens. So, yes, it does help the running game. Would you ever fade Big Ben with his receivers at captain? Yeah, I think that's fine. You can do that for sure. Now, let me look at some of my highest projected lineups. They're probably going to have Ben in them, most of them. Yeah, a lot of them have Ben in them just because it makes sense, right? You're getting close to a 20-point projection on a slate where you really don't need salary. Like, sure, if you want to play all the Steelers wide receivers and Ben, you need to find salary, but you don't really need much salary on this slate because you have 2 running backs in the 2K range that are probably going to see more times than not close to double-digit touches in this game. Feel confident about my lineup, but no remaining salary, somebody says. Ayo donates $2 to the stream. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's going to be tough. If you have no remaining salary today, I don't like ever doing that. I always leave money on the table in all my Showdown lineups because, yeah, sure, you can win with no remaining salary, but you know you're automatically not winning first place. You know you're automatically not capitalizing on the time where those slim chances that you ever take down a tournament, right? You have to capitalize to the maximum. And if you're automatically setting yourself up to not, you're never going to win long term. And if it's just entertainment, that's fine. Then spend all your money and build a lineup that looks good that 35 other people have, and your prize pool, you'll still win a couple $1,000s, and that's fine. But if you're like cashing in your couple wins, and that's the most you're getting out of it, that's brutal. That's brutal. Sneaky best captain tonight. Yeah, I mean, so the non-sneaky guys are all the Pittsburgh priced up guys, right? Like, I think a sneaky captain is probably Benny Snell, right? Because he's a fantastic game flow. More times than not, he'll probably project out for 16 to 20 plus touches. And nobody's going to play him in the captain spot compared to the Steelers receivers, compared to Big Ben. Outside of that, I want to say Robert Griffin's a sneaky captain, but you need those rushing yards. You need the 50-plus rushing yards that he got last year against the Steelers team in Week 17 when they just weren't even carrying either team at that point. And it was a totally different team in terms of offense and even defense. So I would say Benny Snell's probably the sneakiest upside captain. You're going to have ownership on Gus Edwards in the captain spot. Benny Snell's price tag is going to keep him not in the captain spot, but he very much has a possibility of a 120-yard game on 20 carries for 2 touchdowns. Kevin donates $2 to stream. Appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you. Kevin says, where can I find a good slice of pizza? Depends where you are, but John's in New York City is pretty damn good. Hill and Edwards in the same lineup. You can do that. It's not my preferred option, but definitely. What's your best Super Draft captain today? Projection-wise, it's Gus Edwards, but today's the first day all year where there's not a lot of separation on Super Draft. Super Draft did a really good job pricing this slate. My projections on Super Draft, Gus Edwards is my highest projected. I haven't projected for 2 more points than anybody else. Honestly, that doesn't mean much, though. It's like the difference of a half a fantasy point if he actually gets there. But then after that, it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 guys are within like 2 points of each other. Not even 2 points, like less than 2 points of each other. So today's a good day to just bump up the randomness, maybe trying to favorite a little bit more of those wide receivers, but a lot looks similar today on Super Draft. It's going to be a good slate. It's going to be a good slate. And it's going to be a good slate because a lot of people are going to play players that are just dead money today based on their multipliers. And unless you have projections, unless you're geared up, ready to go to war with more information, you can get it down below on Patreon. Follow along if you want to in those projections. I mean, you're just going to be dead money. Because there's a lot of Super Draft guys that I know people are going to play today that they are just not appealing to me at all. And I already know based on like the questions that are being asked in this chat that they're going to have decent ownership on some of these names. I'm not going to say them, keep that edge for ourselves on Super Draft, but if you have the projections, you'll see who they are. I would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 guys on Super Draft that I know are going to pick up ownership that more times than not are just dead money today. How's your trip to New York? Great. Big city's awesome. Like it. I did a morning run one day and it was fantastic. Haven't heard any talk on Washington. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, you're going to get 1 deep target probably from Washington, right? You might get 2 total targets, 1 downfield. Does Washington convert on that for a 40, 50-yard catch? Does he convert on it for a touchdown? My answer to you is I don't know. Like, he's going to run 12 routes in this game, Washington, right? On those 12 routes, he's not going to be targeted 6 times. You won't have a 50% target share in this offense. So if he's targeted twice, that's what you're banking on. You're banking on 2 targets that do not have a high catch upside to them. Does he convert 1 for a touchdown is how he gets in the winning lineup. Because 1 catch for 20 yards is not in the winning lineup. 2 catches for 20 yards, 4 fantasy points at that price point. When there's other running backs that are going to get a lot of opportunity, when Devin Duvernay's down there, you're not going to get in the winning lineup. Justin Hill, winning lineup maybe? Yeah, for sure. He's cheap enough and he's going to get usage. You should never feel good on a showdown slate. You already lost. Yeah, exactly. I mean, these showdown slates are, there is skill, no doubt about it. Like when you have the ability to project projections and ownership, you have an advantage over people who don't, right? But it's also a lot of randomness. So those people who don't have projections in rankings compared to main slates, they'll have a little bit better of a chance to get quote unquote lucky. Because on main slates, I mean, if you don't have projections rankings, you don't have the idea and understanding of how to stack properly, how to leverage stacks, how to mini stack, skinny stack other games. I mean, you're shooting dead money into those lineups. It's hard to do that on a showdown slate for anybody, even the professionals, because it's just such a small sample of one game to take advantage of. The inactives are out. Yeah, they come out an hour and a half before the game, so they should have come out. Let's see what the inactives are. Let me pull up the Ravens Twitter. What you thinking about Dez versus the kickers in the price range? Yeah, honestly, I don't normally say this, but I kind of think I prefer the kickers. I never say that. But Boswell and Dez is like a coin flip. I'm getting more of the kickers right now than Dez, which is surprising. Let me pull up right now. Eagles officially activate Ertz. Okay, so that's not for this game. Let me pull up right now the inactives from the Ravens Twitter, assuming that they posted them. Ravens inactives today. This is transactions. We made the following roster moves 4 minutes ago. Sean Copeland, activated from the practice squad. So Sean Copeland is going to play tight end today, and so is Eric Tomlinson and Luke Wilson. So Luke Wilson is activated from the practice squad. So there's no Jerrell Adams. So Luke Wilson, former Seahawk, is actually really talented. The Seahawks used to run plays for him. So Luke Wilson, he's expensive though on this slate. I believe, is he in the $3,000 range? Is that right? I think Luke Wilson might operate as the tight end one today. So this $3,600 Luke Wilson is actually a really sneaky play now. I'm going to have to get a projection for him right after this live stream. We're probably going to go live for, have we already been live for an hour? We'll probably go live for an hour. It's been about 52 minutes. Luke Wilson is now active for this game. I project Sean Copeland's also active. I project Luke Wilson to be the tight end one for this game, coming off of an illness, not an injury, so he should be okay. Let's just check in on the Steelers inactives. So, yeah, I mean, keep in mind, Luke Wilson is still Luke Wilson. He's still a practice squad tight end at this point in his career with a backup quarterback in Robert Griffin III. But at least something to be interesting that if he takes on some of this Mark Andrews role in the offense, he's still expensive. That's the problem. So like even Luke Wilson, 3 catches, 30 yards is nowhere near enough, and that would be a surprisingly good game for Luke Wilson. But yeah, it's at least interesting to see that they're going to have a viable tight end. Somebody says Luke Wilson time. Yeah, Luke Wilson used to be a nice option on Showdown slates for Seattle, but keep in mind he's expensive. Like I'm shocked he's above $2,000. That's crazy. I assume they're projecting him, or they were projecting him to be the starting tight end. Robert Griffin III starts for the Ravens. Little fun fact, this will be his 3rd start since 2007, and all 3 starts were against the same team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The man's got it. So yeah, I'll update the Luke Wilson stuff right after I get off the stream in about 10 minutes for Patreon, so you can see exactly what I'll have him projected for. But yeah, let's not overreact about Luke Wilson, because even if he runs 15 routes and catches 3 balls at 37 yards, it's probably not enough at that price point. But he is a talented tight end that could run 30 routes and see 5 targets, right? What do you think of Steelers D in the captain spot? No interest. Well, he was promoted, so I assume so. Yeah, he's definitely going to be active now. Boswell is a very solid play. I agree. Showdowns go to the last minute, and something like a Richard Rodgers touchdown can screw the whole day. Hate showdowns, but keep playing them in hopes I have Richard Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, showdowns are just fun, right? Showdowns are purely entertainment. Like, I try to play them optimally. I play 150 lineups so that once or twice a year you hit a big contest. Like the first showdown slate of the entire year, that Thursday Night Football, we won like $1,600. And, I mean, that basically funded the next couple weeks of showdowns, which we stayed steady afloat. So showdowns have been fine this year for NFL, for me personally. But yeah, I mean, they're basically just entertainment, right? They're 1-game slates where your edge is very, very minimal. Don't hate on our boy like that, bro. Somebody says Luke Wilson. Yeah, I like Luke Wilson. The double L in the Wilson. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and research. No problem. Thoughts on McLeod? Ray McLeod? Yeah. He's a end around type of a player. So if you think he could turn one of those little pitch plays into like a 20-yard touchdown, go for it. But I'm not gonna. I'm out, Sal. Gonna build some lineups. Good luck. Smash that like button. Alerts coming out about players now. Thank you, Jerrell. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Somebody says Wilson is a good play. Is that a question or a statement? I think he's an okay play. I don't think he's a good play. I don't think he's a bad play. I think he's an okay play. He'll probably profile out to be the tight end one, but if that's 12 routes run and 2 targets, you're not going to get there with Luke Wilson. He's expensive. If Luke Wilson was $200, I would be sitting here saying that he's a rather good to, not great, but closer to it. At $3,600, there's no way. There's no way. He's still not a better play than Justice Hill or McFarland or some of these kickers, right? They just capitalized. They just really limited the potential upside for a Luke Wilson game when he's priced at it's $2,400, right? His captain price is $3,600. He's $2,400. Like, yeah, him being over $2,000 is just it's crazy. Like he'll project out for like 4 to 5 fantasy points probably for me. What state you in, Sal? Let's throw some bags. I'm not trying to get murked, man. I'm not trying to get murked. No way I can disclose that information. He's $2,400 on DraftKings. Yeah, $3,600 in the captain spot is what I was looking at. My apologies. But yeah, let's add some Luke Wilson. We don't have to worry about Jerrell Adams, who hasn't played since 2017. Probably hasn't even been on the roster all year this year, but for some reason was in the DraftKings player pool to start. Props to DraftKings for getting Luke Wilson in the player pool. That's at least decent to see. But I'm probably still not going to have much interest in Luke Wilson. Right now I'm doing the projections for him so I can add them to Patreon. Yeah, like Luke Wilson projects out for 4 fantasy points for me right now, and that's if I'm being generous with him. So Not somebody I'm really trying to play. He'll be like a C for me in GPPs. Alrighty. And I doubt SuperDraft's going to have him on their players. So I'm going to update that over on Patreon right now for everybody. Let me just put this in here. Tight end for Baltimore, Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson is going to be the tight end one probably. Sal, is this your full-time job? Yes, sir, it is. More than a full-time job. December alone could have made this a full-time job probably. Luke, I am your father, somebody says. Hey, shout out to you. Thanks, Sal, no problem. What about tight ends? Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer Eric Ebron over any tight end today, but it's even tough to want to get to Ebron. I love Ebron this year. I've been playing him so much in main slates, and he's been capitalizing. 3 out of the last 4 games with a touchdown. One of those against the Ravens and Chuck Clark. Tough matchup, and now based on the fact that Gus Edwards and Justice Hill opened up, tougher to want to get to Ebron. Wilson is Richard Rodgers 2.0. He might be. I mean, he's way more talented than Richard Rodgers in my opinion, but he might be. Are Ingram and Dobbins in? Sorry, no, they're not. My injury update isn't loading. No, they're not. Nope, it's Gus Edwards and Justice Hill tonight. If Gus eats, I'm finished. Need to take a stand. Nice. Do we get today's prom with all... Do we get today's prom? Oh, projections with all sports access? No, definitely no. Showdown projections for Thursday and usually Monday night. So Wednesday night takes the place of Thursday night. Showdown projections, rankings, ownership, super draft projections. Those are all for priority and Hall of Fame members. When you sign up for all sports package, it'll say that in there. It'll be in bold letters. It'll say all it's offered, and in bold letters, it'll say you do not have Discord to access in this tier, and you do not have access to the Showdown information. That's in the next tier. It's not offered in the all sports package. But if you want to roll into it, you can roll into it for just the difference of the price of the package. So let me update this on Patreon right now, just to get the Luke Wilson projection in there. I didn't see the Steelers inactives. We know that we got the Pouncey news earlier. I'm going to go back to the Steelers Twitter to see if they're out now. Still no inactives or actives on the Steelers Twitter, at least. I assume maybe they have a PR team. Sometimes teams do that. We saw that on Monday night, like the Seahawks PR team did it. Steelers PR, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm just going to delete that for now and update these projections. Updated for Wilson active. There we go. Bang. With all of them a yes, who is your favorite receiver for Pittsburgh today? I think the one who hits the most for you is Deontay Johnson. I think he'll be the highest owned, so I think I'll like Chase Claypool the most. Deontay Johnson on paper is the best play, but I think he'll be the highest owned as well. So I'll go with Chase Claypool for like a 5 to 10% ownership discount. Just updated on Patreon, sent those out right there. With these tight ends in, does it hurt anyone else? No. I mean, we were just expecting these guys to not really be used that much. I mean, maybe it hurts Duvernay and Miles Boykin. Probably Miles Boykin the most, but not much. Dez or Wilson ignoring the price? Ignoring the price, probably Wilson for me. Do you like Benny Snell more with those guys being out on defense? Yeah, so Campbell, those guys are out. So is Brandon Williams, I believe, defensive tackle. Those guys aren't going to do much in terms of changing a projection. They'll bump it up by like 0.25. What's for dinner? No idea. Probably some 80, 20% ground pork and a bunch of vegetables. Any weather to worry about? Good question. Let's see. Let's check the NFL Vegas odds, see if anything's lower than the total. Who's your top captain? Ron Swanson. The total in this game has not changed, so I'm not worried about the weather. A 41.5 total. Holy shit, that's so low. No need for Boswell at captain, not for me. Sal out here scamming, somebody says. 808 Kick says. Scamming? What's we scamming out here? You're not interested in the Steelers defense? I think they're going to demolish the Ravens. Yeah, go for it. I'm not interested. I don't think I will ever play a defense that's approaching $8,000 when they're projected to be 30+% owned. I'll let a third of the field make that mistake more times than not. We've seen defenses over $7,000 4 times this year in showdowns. They haven't even come close. So, I mean, if you think the Steelers defense scores multiple touchdowns, go for it. Smash the like or you won't win them $1 100%. How much Ben you got today? I got a lot of big Ben, but none on the captain. I've got 94% big Ben in the utility. What's up, big homie? You think I'm pushing it using all 3 Steelers wide receivers? I think you're pushing it. I don't think it's terrible, but I think you're pushing it. Sal, you prefer Tucker or Boswell? Boswell. Somebody says, what's the spread? The most recent spread was, I believe, 10.5. It is still 10.5. Steelers 10.5 point favorites. Any Hollywood Brown at the captain spot? Yes, sir. I got Hollywood Brown in my captain spot in 15% of my lineups. Lowest owned captain. Weather a factor for that point total? No, sir. Nope. The game opened at 41.5. The factor of the point total is that the entire starting team outside of Hollywood Brown is out for the Baltimore Ravens on offense. Literally everything. Starting tight end. One of their starting wide receivers. There's 2 starting running backs. Their starting quarterback. Their entire defensive line. Their 15.5 point total is the reason why that total is so low. Otherwise, normally they'll be in the 20s and the total will be closer to 50. That guy was probably pissing at the Showdown projections. I was just joking. He thinks he probably got scammed. Oh, yeah, no. He's just in the wrong tier if he was looking for them. Both kickers in cash? Not for me. No, not for me. People not playing the Steelers D, same one's not going to play the Saints on Sunday. Same one saying not to play the Saints on Sunday. The Saints defense on Sunday? Yeah, I didn't play the Saints defense on Sunday. I'm good without a $4,000 defense that projects out for like 2 more points than all the other defenses. I'm good for it. When a quarterback throws a quarterback, right? This Hinton guy, when he throws 9 times in a game, really tough for your defense to get there in terms of like pick sixes and interceptions when he's throwing 9 times. I think he had 2 picks. He should have like 5 fucking picks in those pass attempts. But I'll take the like $2,400 defense that I played. That got me 16 fantasy points. That one felt good. Sal, how much Juju do you have at the captain spot? 23% Juju there. Heard there was going to be snow. Hope so. That sounds fun. But yeah, snow's not going to affect this game unless you're looking at an unforeseen blizzard. Nothing's going to affect the game weather-wise right now. Sal, don't tell me what state you're in, but look up 144 Cobb Fathers on Facebook, and we can do this. 144 Cobb Fathers. Wow. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I'm about to get a bug if I do this. Let's look this up. 144. You going to try and track me off of this? 144 Cobb Fathers. Let's see what we got here. You remember when people thought RG3 was great? He was great for a year. Then he hurt his knee, and then they played him on a hurt knee, and then he ended up being a bust. Is fading both quarterbacks an option to get all the running backs and receivers? It's an option for sure. I'm not really going to be doing it, but it's an option. 42 members and 144 Cobb Fathers, led by Brian Perkins, shared an event. Somebody says Savannah blind draw. I don't know what this is. Richmond Hill, Georgia. You're somewhat close to me. A group of Richmond Hillians who enjoy the game of cornhole and equally enjoy our beautiful community. We created to coordinate cornhole games and tournaments in our area. Yeah, sounds pretty cool, man. It sounds really cool. I think cornhole's pretty good. Brian Perkins be posting up on here. Yeah, cornhole's pretty fun. That looks pretty cool. You guys got the t-shirts and everything. Snell and the captain at a double up. In a double up. So in a double up, no, but I think Snell is a really nice, sneaky upside play as a captain who won't be as highly owned. I don't think he gets there more times than not, but look, his team's a 10-point favorite. The other team has no implied points, it seems like. I think Snell's a pretty sneaky upside play. I think Snell's also a nice play on Jock Marker, where he's nowhere near going to be as expensive as he should be. Would you fade Deontay or Claypool? I would choose Claypool in one lineup there. I'm relying on Vance Mcdonald making a catch or preferably 2 in my season long. Any hope? No hope at all. Find somebody else. Hey, Ben Shapiro. I mean, Sal. Yeah, he's my cousin, so close. I live in Pittsburgh. Snowed yesterday, but should all be good. No problem today. Thank you for that analysis, Mr. Nathan. How much McLeod do you have? 0%. McFarland has X and Justice Hill has a Y. Please explain. Yeah, I mean, McFarland, you would assume he gets there in the passing game and is a 10-point favorite. I can't project him out for that many targets. Justice Hill, you would assume he gets there in the passing game, and as a 10-point underdog, I can project him out for more targets. So at a cheaper price point, I have Justice Hill projected for more points. Also, in front of Anthony McFarland is Benny Snell, who they've been very willing to just give a ton of touches to this season when healthy, in very limited spots where James Conner has been hurt. I think Anthony McFarland is a better running back than Justice Hill, but him being a better running back does not just mean that he's just going to score more fantasy points. In a perfect world, that would make sense, right? But it's about usage. And if I think Justice Hill sees 8 to 10 touches to 10 to 12 maybe, and I only think Benny Snell sees 6 to 8, or McFarland sees 6 to 8, it's tough. They're very close, right? They're like separated by a point in my projections. I'm trying to differentiate between the two of them by putting one as a yes and one as a maybe. I'm getting a lot more Justice Hill right now compared to Benny Snell. I'm getting about 20% more. But I have a good amount of, or a lot more Justice Hill compared to Benny Snell is actually a correct statement, but also McFarland. I'm predicting 21-3 Steelers. Sounds like a boring game. I hope not. I need to get more Snell. Somebody says, you mean Field Yates he looks like? Yeah, I mean Field Yates, also my father, so pretty close as well. Who would you look for on the waiver wire to replace Will Fuller? I mean, it depends on your league, man. That's a very general statement. Who's your picks at captain? It depends on how risky you want to get. The guys that I'm going with are Deontay, Juju Smith, Claypool, Duvernay, Hollywood Brown. I do think that Benny Snell is a really interesting low-owned captain option. I might manually jam him into a couple lineups. How much McLeod do you have? 0%, my good man. Any love for McLeod? No, sirree. None for me today. We still got about 1,000 people rocking with us in here. I appreciate all of you a ton. Please do hit that like and subscribe if you're still rocking with us. Hopefully you're having a good time. So we got what? We got like an hour until these games starts. That's pretty exciting. Afternoon football. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Somebody says to have ghost haters. Somebody says. I don't know what that means. Mediocre Gamer has just subscribed to the channel. I'm sure you're a little bit better than mediocre, my man. Shout out to you, the shout out, your name popping up. As always, thanks for the help, Sal. Wednesday afternoon football. Let's fucking go. Smash that like, peeps. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah. Shout out to Wednesday afternoon. Gonna be rainy day if you don't have McLeod. Uh-oh. This guy. Love your passion for the sport of football, brother. Keep it up. Also, you concerned about Jerome Bennis eating into Benny Snell's workload. Love it, Isaiah. I think that Jerome Bennis is going to be a threat more so to McFarland today than Benny Snell. Do you think Joe Mixon will be ready for the fantasy playoffs when he's off the IR? No idea. No idea at this point. They might just shut him down. How much Boykin do you have? 0%. Any Boykin? No, sir. Near the field on Hollywood Brown? Yeah. In terms of my captain plus utility, I'm near the field on him. Yep. About 32% is where I think he comes in. If you had to go Hill or Edwards, ignoring Price, who are you going to? So ignoring Price, I have Edwards projected out for more points than Hill. So if Price doesn't matter, like if you're talking about like a pick'em or something, I have Edwards projected out for more points than Hill. I think it's closer than people think, though. Do you think RG3 gets more rushing yards than Edwards and Hill today? I'm not going to be placing that bet, no. Sal, what's the best way to go about making 150 lineups? To wait until Sunday slate, listen to the Closing Thoughts podcast, and use correlation, use game stacks in every single one of your lineups in the main slate. I would not recommend playing 150 in a showdown if it's your first time playing. If you want to and you really want to, play the lower stake stuff. So when you make a mistake, it's only costing you like $75 and not a ton. Oliver Veasley just became a subscriber. Shout out to you, Oliver. But yeah, the best way to go about it is using an optimizer without a doubt. Running some rules, not spending all your money. Tim Klesch also just became a subscriber. Shout out to you with the Aaron Rodgers eyeglasses popping down at you. Brian might feat some targets. Might get some targets. Yeah, Dez got 6 targets in the last game. Rock Forever is now a subscriber. Shout out Rock. So Luke Wilson at $2,400 is in play. Not really for me. I think he's an interesting option because he just became activated so late that he's not going to have enough ownership. So he becomes an interesting option. Now you ask yourself, do you think that on a team that is like a JV team today with a backup quarterback, Luke Wilson, a practice squad tight end, former Seahawk, do you think that if Luke Wilson sees 4 targets today, he can pay off $2,400? If he was $200, I'd be advocating for Luke Wilson in some of your lineups. At $2,400, somebody says I'm 6 beers in already. Hey, shout out to you in the afternoon. Get after it, man. But yeah, I think that Luke Wilson's really going to have to come through in a big way, like a touchdown. Like 3 catches, 30 yards for Luke Wilson at that price point. Maybe he gets it done at $2,400, maybe, right? But that's like a big day for him. Wilson or Boykin? Ugh, I have 0% of both. I would choose Wilson if you had to choose one. How long does it take to get my Sal sign-up bonus on Superdraft? It's a slow drip format, Cage. So you get the money as you play. That's what a slow drip format means. That's at least the last time that they told me like a couple weeks ago what it is, and I assume it's still the same. So the bonus is a slow drip format. What rules do you put in for Showdown? What's your base rules? Base rules are groups. Salvatore. I have a Salvatore who just became a subscriber to the Salvatore Vetri YouTube channel. Shout out to you, Salvatore. Oh, and it's, the name screams Italian in the first name, but it was Caruso? Chirusio. But yeah, rules are all different for every single slate. Whether you want to limit tight ends and running backs from the same team, limit the amount of kickers, defenses total in your lineups, limit the overall running backs in your lineups. If you want to set rules to stack with a quarterback for specific lineups, if you want to stack on slots where you have a 5-1 running back with a defense and the only other player on the other team is like a captain wide receiver. There's so many things you can do with Showdown. There's so many. It's almost unlimited. Obviously not. It's capped. No cap, it's capped. But yeah. What optimizer do you recommend using? I'm looking to try to make something happen for this game. Yeah, I use Fantasy Cruncher because I get it for free from being an Awesemo contractor. So I don't even know like the other ones. I just assume it's good because I haven't had any issues with it. But there could be one that's better out there, and I just don't know. So that's like my honest truth. Fantasy Cruncher is good. I use it. Is there a better one out there? I have no idea. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. I have no idea. Just subscribe, says Gizmo. Shout out Gizmo. Subscribing. Sal, what to do, baby? Football at 3:30 on a Wednesday. Sign me up. Me too. Fellas. What's up, Chase? What you doing? Sal, did Dez catch it? Of course not. Yeah, by the NFL rule, he did not catch it. If you're in your backyard, you probably say he catches it, but by the NFL rules at that time, Dez Bryant did not catch that football. Just joined, says Ryan. Welcome, Ryan. How you doing? What's up, Sal? What's going on? Manja, the Dalaruski, says Anthony. Richard just became a subscriber to YouTube. Shout out, Richard. Yeah, so everybody, I think I'm going to bounce. We've been live for an hour 10, longer than we normally go. An hour into the game start. I'm going to go crunch and finish up my lines. Sponsored by Swag, just became a YouTube subscriber here as well. So shout out all you guys. Any correlation with backup QBs and the second offense receivers? Feel their chemistry and timing is more finely tuned, overthinking, or some validity? There's some validity to that, right? But what do you think are the second string wide receivers that are really going to be practicing with Robert Griffin? Miles Boykin and Duvernay have been practicing with the first team a lot. Des Bryant has been mainly practicing with the first team. Otherwise, he's been on the practice squad where Robert Griffin hasn't been. So even then, it's really tough to try and make that work out for you, right? No bars open in Minnesota. Damn. Somebody says, what's your core? Yeah, so here's my core. Here's my sneaky core, my mortal lock sneaky core. Aaron Rodgers in the captain spot. Try and get Nick Boyle in 2 of your other spots. And then if you could fill out your lineup with the rest of them being Ron Swanson, that could really probably pay off. Luke Wilson, question mark? Got him projected for like 5 fantasy points. Not really into it. For receiving yards, does that include rushing yards after the ball is caught? What? For receiving yards, says, does that include the rushing yards after the ball is caught? What? The yards after the catch? Yeah, if that's what you mean. Yeah. Would you play both quarterbacks on FanDuel? I don't play FanDuel, so I have no idea what those prices are. Fellow Packers backer here. Thoughts on Tavon signing? I mean, he's going to be a backup to Tyler Ervin, right? So he's just a depth piece. Like, people seeing Tavon Austin, who was drafted in the first round, a decade ago at this point, 9 years ago, 2013, 8th overall pick, I think, to the Rams. I mean, does nothing for me. Tyler Ervin's better at this point, and Tyler Ervin is going to remain that gadget guy for them. Now, Tyler Ervin has been banged up this year, so that's why you're going to probably see Tavon Austin be the backup to Tyler Ervin, maybe finally be the punt returner over Darius Shepard because he's absolutely brutal. I actually grabbed the pen somebody said for those plays. I love it. Yeah, write them down. Make sure to get them all. I'll say it again slowly. Sal, dropping knowledge with that core. Thanks for all the info. Sal, appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, Colton. Colton, I think you're the one who sent me a message on Patreon about the optimizer. I'll get back to you. I saw it was a long message, so I got to stop looking at Patreon or any stuff in the morning when I wake up. I've been getting better at that. But I'll try and do it tomorrow after I wake up and everything. I'll try and read and catch up on some stuff. Damon Damon Hinson just became a new YouTube subscriber. Shout out to you. Sal, everyone mentions the Dez catch, but everybody forgets that Julius Peppers strip on DeMarco Murray preventing a huge touchdown run. Do you remember that play? Yes, to the right side. Yep, to the right side. It seemed like it was inevitable that the Packers were going to lose. They were running the clock out pretty nicely. They were moving the ball very nicely. And DeMarco Murray had a huge hole to the right side, and he got stripped. And that was the last you ever heard of DeMarco Murray, honestly. All the best to everyone, by the way. All the best. Yeah, shout out to everybody out there. Where are you all tuning in from? If you're all, I'll stay live for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to bounce. 4 more minutes and then we'll be an hour till game time. Where are you all tuning in from? I assume a lot of people are tuning in from their job, their jobs. What's that be like? Where are you all tuning in from? Shepard got cut. Thank the Lord, LOL. Darius Shepard got cut recently? Thank God. Yeah, I mean, fumbling that punt probably will do that for you. 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. He's been bad. That's probably why St. Brown got more usage. Fellas. Eric Tomlinson going for 4 TDs. Big white guys for the win, somebody says. Hey, big fellas got to stick together, huh? I'm in Northern Virginia. Nice. Somebody's in California. Shout out to you. I don't know what part of that is. Baltimore. A lot of people all over the place right now. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, all over the place. At the Northeast, a little south, west. Old Mississippi. I don't even know where Mississippi is on the map, to be honest with you. A lot of people. I'm home in Texas, Kentucky. Who are your top 2 captains today? My captains are all pretty similar. I don't have an overwhelming captain. All the Pittsburgh receivers are my top 3, but they're all very close, and then some Baltimore receivers. I do think Benny Snell's a sneaky upside captain. A nice implied team total with on-the-ground usage and a big favorite usually means good things for a running back favorite. You a believer in Jordan Love? Look. Jordan Love's a very difficult topic to talk about because Jordan Love is a kid coming out of college that did his best to get drafted in the first round, and everybody shits on him. Everybody. Every general news person on SportsCenter and Fox, they shit on him. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. Huge. Love Aaron Rodgers. He's fantastic. He's great. Jordan Love was a terrible pick by the Green Bay management. Jordan Love himself, the comps that he has to Patrick Mahomes, to whoever it might be, yeah, those are great. Those are great to see, right? But I don't know. We're not going to know anything about Jordan Love maybe ever because if Aaron Rodgers plays the way that he is, there's no way you're starting. There's no way you can be a actual general manager and coach and next year or the year after, if Aaron Rodgers is at this level, replace him. There's just no way. There's no reason to do that, to rebuild at that point. So I do think Jordan Love will end up being traded or he'll just walk away unless Aaron Rodgers becomes terrible in the next year and a half. So nothing against Jordan Love. It's the Green Bay management that made a very bad pick. Sal, when do you think you get NBA memberships will be a go? Yeah, I have it in my notes. Probably in the next week I'll make the NBA memberships for Patreon. I have to figure those out though. Discord will be in the priority tier. Ownership, I don't have ownership projections right now for NBA. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's either outsource for some of the data that I need for them or just wait until I have a big enough sample to make them on my own. Southern Texas laying a floor. Nice. Southern Texas. San Antonio, does that mean? Is that Southern? Is San Antonio or is that Houston? Houston Southern? I don't fucking know. I've only been to Austin, which is like central. North Carolina, says Mike. Yeah, I know where you're at. Tommy Brenton, what's up? Minnesota represent. Yeah. Just remember, Rodgers sat behind Favre for a bit. Yes, Rodgers sat behind Favre for a bit, but that was not the same exact situation. Not even close to the same exact situation. Not even close. Favre was falling off a little bit. In terms of the Rodgers pick, he was comped to go first overall, and he dropped to 27th. So that's as if the Packers were getting Joe Burrow, right? So if you told me Joe Burrow was the backup to the Packers right now, yes, I would say, okay, in 2 or 3 years, there's a real chance they replace him, and that makes sense. That's the type of hype that Aaron Rodgers had coming out. He was being comped to the similar levels that Joe Burrow was as a first overall pick, not Jordan Love, who was being projected as a second-round pick. So this is not the same talent situation. This is not the same exact situation at all in terms of Favre falling off a little bit in his years. Favre never being, in my opinion, the quarterback that Rodgers is in terms of ball security and just overall arm talent. You get Ron Swanson in a pair with the Lavouin Neat. You got a great correlation. What does that mean? All right, everybody. I think I'm going to bounce. South New Jersey in the house. Hey, shout out South New Jersey. Appreciate that. Ron Swanson, somebody says. Hey, shout out y'all. All right, everybody. Peace out. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe before you go. You want to support Patreon, you can down below. NBA starting in 20 days. 20 days exactly, I think. So best of luck, everybody. We're very close to Christmas as well. 3 weeks away. Can't wait for that. Be back home in the Jersey, New York, PA area. So it's going to be fun in a couple of weeks. Leave for that. Thank you, everybody. Peace out, gang. I'll see you all in the next one. Shout out Austin, Texas in the house. Support Superdraft if you would like. I'm going to go make some Superdraft lineups right now and enjoy this game while doing some work. Peace out, gang. This is a fun little live stream on a Wednesday afternoon. Can't beat it.